Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Emerald. I'm your host, the PokeGamer. In the last episode, we thwarted Team Aqua's little plans at the Weather Institute, got ourselves a free cast form, and made our way all the way up to Fortree City. We explored a little bit, and today we're going to finish doing so, and hopefully get to the gym and take that on. But on top of doing that, there's a lot of stuff that we need to go over, so for, the sake of a lot of people's sanity, there is definitely going to be spoilers in this episode, so I would recommend, either like muting this if you don't want to hear spoilers, or, things like that. So I'll give you a few seconds to kind of do so if you really don't want spoilers for X and Y, and yeah. Okay, I think that was more than enough time. So, Serebii apparently has a copy of Pokemon X and Y, and as such, they are now starting to update their page. Now, there has been, I believe you have to answer right here, yeah. Yeah, you just keep answering right. And then left, yeah, whatever. Anyways, the first thing that was kind of significant in what they announced was the fact that the Jigglypuff and Gothita lines now have a new ability called Competitive, which boosts special attack when one of their stats is lowered. So, I mean, that's kind of a cool thing as well. Kecleon also is getting a new ability called Protean. It's the opposite of what it already has. Instead of changing its type according to, like, what it gets hit by, it changes its type by, what you use. So if you use an electric move, it will become an electric type afterwards. So, I don't remember if I talked to that old dude, but I don't really care, and I want to make sure that I'm fully healed. So yeah. Apparently the latter, aka the Kecleon thing, is demonstrated in a new kind of battle called inverse battles, where the type effectiveness is inversed. So, like, if you're strong against grass, you're now weak against it, or some shit like that. I really don't know the deal, but But apparently it's only one trainer in the game that you can battle like that, and you can battle them once per day. Now, as you can see, we can't move any further to the gym because there's something blocking our way, so I guess we have to go and do something about that. So, I guess we have to head off into the one place that we, Next up, we have some held items that were introduced into the game. There are some very, very useful ones. Very, very useful. Starting off is apparently an item called Weakness Policy. When it's held, it sharply increases the holder's attack and special attack stat when it is hit by a move that is super effective against it. So, if you're like a water type, get hit by electric type or grass, you will get a sharp increase of attack and special attack. I don't know if this is a consumable item or not, but it is really good, in my opinion. Especially if it is a consumable item, because, I mean, like, it's just ridiculous at that point. You can just do it, whatever, and like, oh, okay. Especially if you're throwing it out, like if you're throwing out a bulky Pokemon, something that's really defensive and can take a super effective hit, by all means. Like, this is ridiculous. Let's see here. I'll have to come back here with Linoon, because I do have a Linoon now. Also, I did evolve Aron into, so that'll be a thing. Anyways, next item is called the Assault Vest, apparently. This is kind of like an Eviolite, but a little better, a little worse. I would say it's like a better Eviolite to an extent. Like, it depends on what you're using it on. When held, it raises the special defense, but prevents the user from using any status affliction moves. So, what this essentially means is you can't use Toxic, you can't use, things like that. But you can, use other, like, just offensive moves and shit. And at the same time, it does allow you to be rather, bulky. So it's kind of good, kind of, contradictory. Like, you kind of want to have, like, defensive Pokemon like to use a lot of status things. They like to do, a lot of retarded shit like that. So, I mean, it's kind of but why am I using an electric move on Magneton? Just go for Tri-Attack. But yeah, next up we have the safety goggles. This was an item that, wow, I really... Okay, anyways, safety goggles. When held, this protects the holder from weather damage and powder moves. This, in my opinion, is a really useful item, especially if you just like can't think of an item to throw on something on your team, which normally shouldn't be a problem, but if it happens to be there, it's a really useful item. Spore doesn't work, things like that, so it's really good to kind of have that, on top of the fact that if you want to use it on a weather team that you don't want to like damage yourself. Oops, I did not want to do that. Just do that, whatever, I don't care. But yeah, safety goggles, yeah, it's a really decent item. I have no problems with that whatsoever. Like, it's really good. But the next item is one that's going to make everyone happy. Now, this is going to probably be a pain in the ass, because this item you have to get apparently to the battle facility or whatever that's in the 6th generation, and it, like, 200 battle points is a lot. So, I mean, like, normally when you play those games, you see, like, the choice items being only, like, 16 BP, things like that. So this is going to be ridiculous. This item is called the Ability Capsule. What it does is, when held, it switches between the primary and secondary abilities on the Pokemon. So, let me put this into perspective for you. There are 2 Pokemon that we have, or actually no, there's 3 Pokemon that we can make some serious benefit off of in regards to this. First off, we'll go with Sceptile, because Sceptile has Unburden. So, yeah. I'm not going to catch this thing, so I'm just going to kill it. But yeah. Sceptile, Unburden, that's going to be a thing. Okay? Like, that's already ridiculous. Speaking of grass starters, we have Superior. Superior is now going to have Contrary. And the last notable one, maybe not as notable, even though like there's kind of something already similar to it. Shadow Tag Chandelure is now a thing. So, like, I really don't know how to feel about this. There are a lot of Pokemon that have their Dream World abilities and all that other shit. You know, like, there's a thing though, like, it says primary and secondary. I don't know if you actually consider Dream World abilities secondary, because as you've noticed from like Serebii and a whole bunch of other people, they tend to reference like Dream World abilities as hidden abilities, quote unquote. So it may not actually draw out the Dream World ability unless there's only one ability on said Pokemon, and you know, like one of those type of deals. I don't know. We have another thing right here. So. And there's an item there, so we're just going to go ahead and get that. I think there's another item at the bottom of this too, but I don't really remember. But yeah, it should be interesting to see how the ability capsule works. If it doesn't give you the Dream World abilities, it's not that great an item. And it really isn't worth the 200 BP. Especially if you need to get multiples of it, because that's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But if it does happen to let you have your Dream World abilities, it is fucking amazing. Just hands down, it is amazing. But whatever, we'll have to see how it works out whenever Serebii gets done doing all of its coverage. Up next we have Xerneas apparently having 2 forms, but they're merely just appearance changes. Apparently, like, the way it works is, outside of battle, it looks like it does, I think, like, a diluted version of itself or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But apparently inside, like, in battle, it becomes active. Like, I think it has, like, a neutral form and then an active form. I think that's how it's called. So, I mean, there's that. Nothing really significant apparently changes from it, though. So, I mean, it's not really all that, you know, great. The next thing is the Friend Safari. Now, this is fucking important. If you do not have a bunch of 3DS friend codes, I recommend you quickly get a lot. Okay? At least, like, enough to ensure that you're going to get a lot out of this. Apparently, this is going to be basically the new Safari Zone, and I must say, if you don't have the friend codes, you might be shit out of luck. The reason why is because in this little game that you can play in the post game, the way it works is it takes everyone on your friends list and makes them a specific type. Okay? And when selected, Pokemon of that type will appear. It'll take a while for the catalog, apparently, for Serebii to update specifically with everything. But the Pokemon found here can have their hidden abilities. Unlike the Safari Zone, however, you can battle and use your own Pokeballs. So, I mean, there's that. So you might want to start picking up a bunch of 3DS friend codes right now, because if you don't, it may be a pain in the ass for you later down the line. Next up, this one I actually like because, like, if I remember correctly, this is the item that was in Generation 4, which makes shiny hunting a lot easier. Apparently, you can get the Pokeradar later in the game. Okay, if that is exactly what I think it means, then we are definitely going to be getting a lot of easier shiny hunting, assuming they didn't fuck it up, of course. But, yeah, that's a thing as well. Next thing that we have here is something about legendaries. Legendary-wise, the legendary birds of Kanto roam around Kalos, but seemingly flee before the menu even loads up. Serebii's mentioned that he will be investigating further, and Mewtwo apparently is found in the Pokemon Village. Apparently, there's a way of seeing Froakie's hidden ability, because Serebii actually knows about it. I don't know if he's just like ripping things off the ROM itself or what, but apparently its hidden ability is Protean. Just like, that thing I mentioned earlier, Kecleon. Weather abilities such as Drought, Drizzle, and etc. now only last 5 turns. So weather teams are now massively, they're watered down. No pun intended on the rain team, but like this is just going to be retarded. It really is. And the last thing that really needs to be mentioned here is apparently in the Battle Mason there are 4 leaders, each one specializing in one of the 4 standard battles. Sky and Inverse are not included, and apparently they will be, or Serebii is going to try and get up to a 21 streak at a later point to grab their entire team. So that's a thing. I'm surprised I got all that in one episode. Like, normally I tend to, not pay enough attention to things, and then, like, it takes even longer, and, but yeah. I actually didn't think that Tropius would die from that. I thought he would actually survive. But whatever. And in case you couldn't tell, this gym is all about, flying type. Stop going in that direction. Go over here, thank you. Really, another double battle? I did not remember this many double battles in this gym at all. But whatever. This might be our last battle for today, so at least we can say we started the gym, right? Even with all the information that I had to cover, there might even be more after this video goes live. If you really are interested, I do recommend checking out Serebii. You'll be able to just go, oh hey, it has more spoilers. The thing about Froakie, like, it kind of makes me think that he's already gotten 200 battle points and managed to get the ability capsule, in which case, yes, it would work with hidden abilities, but like I said, we'll need further confirmation on that. Oh boy, Swampert leveled up. I need Lairon to level up now. Because that way I can finally have Aggron. Excuse me. That Pelipper is going to be a pain in my ass. Die in a holy fire. And Lairon should finish this off. Damn. I was kind of hoping he would level up so that way we could have Aggron in this episode as well, but So in the next episode, we will be continuing the gym, taking on all the underlings, and then beating the gym leader. Because I guarantee you, we're gonna get to the gym leader in the next episode. And then we will be heading southeast, roughly, to the next city. So yeah, be sure to stay tuned until next time for that. And whatever. Until next time, this is the PokeGamer signing out.